Hoyt Carbon RX-9 Ultra, new from Hoyt for 2025. This one blew me away. I can't wait to tell you all about it. Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery in our video studio today with the brand new 2025 Hoyt RX-9 Ultra. So this is one of the new flagship carbon offerings from Hoyt this year. This is the Ultra model. So this one is 33.5 inches axle to axle. There's a 30-inch version as well. But what I have is the RX-9 Ultra. So great new bow from the folks at Hoyt, and 33.5 inches axle to axle for a carbon bow. And I do have the Go sticks and the new shortstop 2.0 on the end there, but wanted to show you what this thing weighs as is. Again, that includes the shortstop. Let me turn this around for you. Oh, so we are right at 4.6, 4.7. It keeps blinking. 4.6, 4.7 pounds. I'm going to call it 4.5 pounds with the Go sticks and the shortstop 2.0 on there. For a 33.5 inch bow, carbon bow, that's pretty good. Carbon bow, 33.5 inches, this is probably going to be the dream bow for you Western hunters, folks who like to go to tack events, shoot long distance. This is going to be a lightweight bow, yet it's going to be a long bow, going to be real stable for long distance shooting. So this is going to be an excellent offering for you folks. Now, what do we got new on the RX-9 this year? The newest coolest feature is the HBX Gen4 cam. This is a new cam from the folks at Hoyt, and the most noticeable thing is that it is a 4-track cam. You're gonna have your string, you're gonna have cable, and then your cable with the split yoke, got tracks on each side, 4 tracks. So what that does, by having the yoke splitting and your strings coming up on both, your cables connecting on both sides of the cam right at the axle, that helps keep that cam vertically stable. Not gonna have much cam lean there. And what the folks at Hoyt are expecting is, because of that, they're thinking that you will have to do less cam manipulation in your tuning. So with the RX-9, you are gonna have Hoyt's typical spacer system. And what that involves is spacers of different thicknesses on either side of the cam. You start moving them around, there are several different thicknesses. You can maneuver that cam left and right as you're tuning. Well, what that requires is putting the bow in a press, taking the axle out, of course taking the cam off, swapping the spacers. It's not a difficult process, but you do need a bow press, and it is time consuming. So what they're thinking is, by having this 4-track cam system, they're thinking fewer people will need to move spacers when they're doing their tuning. You'll be able to get bullet holes primarily by rest adjustments. Sticking with the cam here, you are gonna see, so this right here, this is gonna be your string stop. Well, Hoyt calls this the foot, the module foot. And you're gonna see right here, I have 85, 80, 75. That's the let off. I just changed that position, get that let off to where I want it. Also, this foot, I can take this and move it to the bottom, move the bottom one to the top, and it's gonna change the foot position. So the two different positions Hoyt is calling an extra hard wall, which is where I have them now, and that if I swap the top and the bottom, it's going to change this position, and they call that a hard wall. It's just going to change the feeling of the back wall however you like it. You know, you can test it out, play with it, see which one feels better for your shot activation. Entirely up to you. Sticking with the module and the cam here. There's one cam for the RX-9 Ultra, but you're going to have 5 modules. What those 5 modules is going to allow you to do is go from a total draw length range of 26 inches up to 30 inches. Now, 5 modules. So this is how it's going to work. Right now, I have module number 4 in here. Since module number 5, that's going to top out at 31 inches. I have module number 4. That's going to top out at 30 inches, which is my draw length. But I'm going to be able to adjust that if I need to, 30 inches to 29 3/4, 29 1/2, 29 1/4. So basically that's what you're going to do with the 5 different modules. But just allows you to, you know, tweak that draw length. You know, I think that's something a lot of archers, especially bow hunters, don't do, is they just think, this is my draw length, that's it. How much do they play with that to feel like, you know, a 1/4 inch here and there can really help steady that pin? If you don't play with the draw length, you don't know that. So with this module system that Hoyt has, you can adjust it 3 different positions, well, 4 total positions, by 1/4 inch draw lengths. So that's a great feature there. And what it does is it helps them maximize the performance and efficiency of the bow at those different draw lengths. If it were just a rotating module from 26 to 31 inches, there will be some draw lengths in there where they're really maximizing the bow, and there would be other draw lengths, primarily at the lower end, where the efficiency just is not what it could be. So with this system of modules, Hoyt is able to maximize it. So with those efficiencies, what we're going to see is, you know, the RX-8 Ultra. The speed rating for that was 332 feet per second. Well, the speed rating for the RX-9 with the 6 3/8 inch brace height is 340 feet per second. So 8 feet per second faster. We'll do our own speed test to see what arrow speed we get. But the rating is 8 feet per second faster. Now, that's a 30-inch draw. As you come down, the speed gains are even higher. Hoyt, in their testing, what they found was that at 29 inches, comparing the RX-8 Ultra to the RX-9 Ultra, there was actually a speed gain of 19 feet per second. So that's a great speed gain just by using that module system that they have there. And then there were other gains at other draw lengths as well. So just a way for Hoyt to maximize efficiencies and performance at different draw lengths. While we're up here, we should mention that there are new limbs and new limb pockets this year. So I took this, what that did is it changed the geometry of the riser a bit. So I took the RX-9 Ultra, held it up next to an RX-8 Ultra, and there are some changes in the riser, the ends here, where this connected to the limbs. I believe the RX-8 Ultra was a little bit wider from front to back here. So it just changed the geometry there, and Hoyt was saying that that helped them, helps with the stability at full draw. It also helps with the string angle. 33.5 inch bow, folks probably aren't worried about the string angle as well, but I will tell you the string angle of this one is going to feel bigger than a typical 33.5 inch axle to axle bow. Now coming down, you know, this is Hoyt's carbon riser. They went to this new design of riser a couple years ago. They went away from the 3 different tubes that, you know, wove together. Now you're going to have the one-piece carbon riser. That just helped make this thing stable, helped make it lighter. It is still very much signature Hoyt in that it does have the tech riser here. You got this bar on the backside. Hoyt's been doing that for several years. They believe in that in terms of how it affects the rigidity of the bow. It just makes this riser nice and rigid, stable. You don't want to have, all kind of weird flexing. And Hoyt, this is their way of dealing with that to stabilize it. So what else we got here? We have some of the typical integrate style accessory mounting systems. You're going to have the Picatinny mount on the front for your sight. You will still have your standard holes on the side if you have a side mounted sight, but of course folks are liking the ability to make their bows skinnier, so they got the pick mount there for a pick mount sight. Down to your rest, you will have your hole there for burger mounted sights. In other words, you got an arm here. That's going to be your mount for that. And then on the back here, you do have the dovetail for any of the rests that say IMS compatible, integrated mounting system. Those are the rests that you're going to be able to mount onto this bow. And I will note that this is not part of the riser. This is an inlaid piece of metal. So you're not clamping onto carbon, you are clamping onto metal there or screwing into metal for your mounting system. Now, coming down to the bottom here, as we mentioned, new and improved Shortstop 2.0. That is their new stabilizer / dampener that Hoyt has had for the last couple of years. And it's probably more valuable as a dampener than as a stabilizer. However, I will say, stabilizers, we like to tell folks, don't really do anything until you get past the limb pockets. Well, you can see how it's mounted here with my Go sticks. I mean, if I were to mount a traditional stabilizer back here under the grip, that's a pretty good length there. I don't know if that's 8 or 10 inches that you can eliminate and just go with the Shortstop, add more weight there if you want to. It will give you that same effect as the 8-inch bar or whatever that would be. And again, weight savings. Carbon bow, why do we have them? One of the reasons is weight savings. The other, the one I prefer, is these things are not freezing cold in the winter. When it starts getting cold for late season bow hunting, man, grabbing onto a aluminum riser, that can hurt. So carbon, much nicer. But then also the weight savings. So you kind of defeat some of that when you start adding a stabilizer and all kinds of weight to it. So this will help it balance with the Shortstop 2.0. And then of course, as you can see here, I do have the Go sticks. This is an aftermarket accessory. It does not come with the Go sticks, but you can mount that on there, for if you're shooting tack events or whatever, you got a built-in bow stand, or if you're bow hunting in the ground blind, boom, you got a place to set your bow, to hold it upright, and it's something that you can shoot the bow with it mounted on there. It's meant to do that. And as long as all the bolts are tightened down, it doesn't make any extra noise. I've shot with them on there. It's nice. You really don't notice that it's there. And then, of course, the other thing, something Hoyt started, if it wasn't last year, it was the year before, is adding this little device right here. So when I have my Go sticks and I set it down, typically what happens is you set the cam in the dirt when the bow is upright in this position. But Hoyt added this cool little knob right here that actually has a rubber O-ring on it. And so you can see that's what's sitting on the ground, not my cam and my string, more importantly. So just a little thing that Hoyt added on there that makes sense. They're bow hunters. They know how these things work. And the other thing it does is when you're hauling your bow up to the tree stand and then you bring it down, you got your haul line attached, comes down, it's going to impact that rather than the cam. We've all set down our bow from the tree stand and you put the cam in the dirt. If it's muddy, whatever, you can get some mud in there and the string track just eliminates that. Typical Hoyt grip, while we were talking about it being cold, we do have Hoyt rubberized grip. This is a grip they've had for a couple years. It's nice and comfortable. It's the right shape, thin up here at the throat, widens out here a little bit, got some different texture material on that grip just to help your hand feel comfortable and so you can get that repeatable position. You can find your hand position easily with this grip. So that is the rundown, basic rundown of the new 2025 RX-9 Ultra. As I mentioned, there is an RX-9. I have the Ultra, so that's the one we're going to be talking about and working with. You can check out the different specs for the RX-9 by clicking the link in the description below. But we're going to take this bow, we're going to build it out. We're going to do the cam timing, we're going to tune it, we're going to shoot through paper until we get a bullet hole so you can see how easy or difficult it is. Then we'll do our speed test. Shoot through the chronograph, see what kind of speeds we can get out of this bow, and then we will take it outside and see, put this thing through the paces. I want to know how this thing shoots. Same as all you folks. I want to see what this thing can do when it's got a sight on it, when I'm aiming at a distance. I want to find out more about the RX-9. All right, let's get to building our Hoyt RX-9 Ultra. All right, our timing is good. Now we'll get our peep sight in. All right, let's go out here on the range. We'll get a paper tune and arrow speed test. All right, we got our Hoyt RX-9 Ultra here. We're gonna shoot through paper and see if we need to do any tuning. So that is just a tick knock low. Yes, knock low, just a hair. So, knock low, I'm going to bring my rest down just a little bit. All right, let's shoot it again. Just a little bit more. There was our first one, there was our second one. Just a hair lower. And we're good. That's what we like to see. Right there. There's our hole. Perfect. So, 3 shots. We didn't have to do any left or right. Remember, with the new quad track cam system, Hoyt is thinking folks will have to do less of cam manipulation in terms of moving spacers around. So for me, that certainly was the case. All I had to do was up and down. That's easy fix. So now let's get our draw weight and we'll shoot through our chronograph, see what kind of arrow speeds we get. Okay, so the Hoyt RX-9 Ultra, the speed rating for this was 340 feet per second. That's 70-pound draw weight, 30-inch draw length with a 350 grain arrow. We are at 30-inch draw length. We're going to see what our weight is, and then we'll shoot our arrow. .72. So I'm going to back that down a little bit to get closer to that 70 pound. But first thing I'm going to tell you is that did not feel like 72 pounds. I would have guessed that we were light of 70 pounds. So that's a good thing. And of course, I need different wrenches. 1, you think? Usually it's like 3 pounds, but lately these bows have been not doing much. All right, we took 1 turn out of the bolt. Let's see what that gives us. Ooh, 67.8, so that was a little too much. All right, we put a half turn back in. Now let's see what we got. All right, there we go, 69.8. That's basically 70 pounds. So we will go with that. We got our 350 grain Easton Sonic 6.0. It is exactly 350 grains. So let's see what we get. $336. Remember, it was $340. 4 pounds is pretty good. Comparatively, you know, some of our bows were in the like 8 to 9 pounds off. So 4 feet per, or 8 to 9 feet per second. 4 feet per second, that's pretty good. Remember, I got a peep sight and a D-loop in here. Anything you put in this middle third of the string is gonna take your speed, arrow speed down. So 4 feet per second, that's pretty good. $336.3, so I think that's pretty accurate. 336 feet per second. That's screaming fast. So now we're gonna take the RX-9 Ultra. Hey, we're gonna go outside, shoot this thing, see what it can do, especially at distance. All right, here we go. The Hoyt RX-9 Ultra, 33.5-inch axle-to-axle bow. Dot, shoot another one. Dot again. Now the draw cycle, it's not heavy, but it requires some effort. If you can keep the flow going until the cam rolls over, feels super nice. There is, I'll say, a hump at the peak before that cam rolls over that you just have to get to. But like I said, if you keep the flow going, it just goes straight back. Then that extra hard wall at the backstop, that thing just feels insanely solid. I always felt like there was a little bit of give, but I have this on the extra hard position and it is extra hard. So the other thing that I have noticed while shooting this bow is I know when I have to work to keep a tight group down there, sometimes it takes a lot of effort. With this bow, however, if I'm close to the dot, it's going into the dot. In other words, I don't have to work very hard to be accurate with this bow. I'm shooting at 60 yards right now, and I'm stacking them in there. I'm having groups where, you know, 5, 6 arrows are all in the black. But once again, it is that feeling at the shot. When I release the string, this is unlike any carbon bow that I've ever shot before. Oh yes, got it. All right, YouTube, I'm gonna stir the pot here. I know everybody always says every year, I say, this is the best shooting bow, which I don't. I'm gonna challenge you to go back there. I'll say it's a great bow, it's an awesome bow, but the superlative, best, nicest, I reserve that. And when I experience it, I gotta call it out. The Hoyt Carbon RX-9 Ultra, that's the bow I'm shooting here. There is the RX-9, I haven't shot that one. This one, the RX-9 Ultra, this is the nicest shooting Hoyt carbon bow that I've ever tested. And one of the main reasons I'm saying that is Hoyt with this bow has eliminated that carbon thump. There's nothing at the shot. I don't feel, you know, it feels like an aluminum bow at the shot. It is truly dead in the hand. And now, you know, that's not necessarily a big issue, that after-shot experience, but when it's not there, you definitely notice it and it feels nice. And that's what I notice in the RX-9 Ultra. It's 33.5 inches axle to axle, so of course I would expect it to aim well, which it does. It's super light. I don't have a stabilizer on here other than the Shortstop 2.0 and the Go sticks. I would never normally shoot a setup like that, but I figured I'd try it, what the heck. And it's just holding. It's pretty windy out here too. So it's holding on target. I'm able to keep my arrows in the dot down there for the most part. You know, I'm at least close to the dot. 60 yards, I've been shooting this bow for all of about 40 minutes. And it just holds great, it's accurate, but mostly, as I said, they got rid of the carbon thump. So I'm calling all of you out. When you get a chance to shoot this one, again, the RX-9 Ultra, that's the bow that I'm shooting. I want you folks to come back after you have shot this bow, leave a comment below, and you tell me if you agree or disagree with me, because I'm just super impressed at the feeling of this bow at the shot. All right, there we go, 60 yards. And I've been shooting this bow for all of maybe 40, 45 minutes. Hoyt Carbon RX-9 Ultra. As I said, this is the nicest Hoyt carbon bow that I have ever shot. So they really outdid themselves. I can't wait for all of you to experience what I'm experiencing at the shot with this. So if you want to see all the different variations of the Carbon RX-9 series, not just the Ultra, but the RX-9 itself as well. Be sure to click the link in the description below. The Carbon RX-9 series is a pro shop only bow, so you can't buy it online. You have to go to your local pro shop. If we are your local pro shop, come out and don't forget, leave that comment below. Tell me if that's not the nicest carbon bow you've ever shot. And you know, link in the description will give you everything you need to know about these bows. Otherwise, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. As always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at lancasterarchery.com.